Thank you for choosing to watch another episode of Where's My Podcast. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and make sure you click that notification bell to keep up to date with all our drops. Enjoy the episode.
Even if it doesn't go well within a month or two, I'm still sticking to this because I need it drilled into everyone that we're stepping away, and this is what I want the brand to be going into.
Yes, my people, welcome back to another episode of Where's My Podcast. And today we're joined by another special guest. I'm smiling so much because this is my guy. We're joined by my brother, Mr FullyPaid, the founder of the brand FullyPaid. FP.
Yeah, we're here.
My guy, we made it happen, bro.
Made it happen.
We made it happen, bro.
Been pending.
Yeah,
made it happen.
for a minute.
Yeah.
Bro, it's actually been... Because I remember last time we spoke about it, you said, no, wait, I got some things coming.
Yeah.
Hey, those things have came soon.
They're coming. It'll come. We made it happen. We're here.
We're here, bro. Thank you so much.
Anytime, man.
Usually I would like lean over and shake your hand and that, but I can't reach.
Yeah.
But it's all love, you know what it is. But yeah, so as you know, at the beginning of every episode, I basically just say why you, the guest, are in the chair. For you, bro, I got a few reasons still. I can't even be serious. Broski, like, obviously because we've done stuff in the past and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I've always rated FullyPaid. Like, I've seen the brand develop over time. Yeah. And it hasn't even necessarily been a long period of time, but I've seen the brand develop exponentially, bro, and grow into something that I hadn't seen. And for me, grow into something even better than it was before. And it was already lit. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And for me, the main purpose of getting you on the podcast today is to really delve into how you've done that. Because I feel like this is something that's been planned out. And often when something is so almost like cohesive and it seems like there was a real lineage to it, it's like there's a mastermind behind that, bro. So man just want to go into depth about the things that you've kind of done to make that happen. And if we want to go into more detail around what I've kind of seen, I've seen that collaborations have been a huge part of that. Do you know what I'm saying? The cross between fashion and music and fashion and entertainment even have been a huge part of that. And I feel like brand owners listening to you talk about how you've done that will learn a huge amount, bro. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Definitely.
Appreciate you, bro. So yeah, as you know, first question, obviously got to go into like the beginning days. And I remember when we last spoke, I told you about when I first got exposed to FullyPaid. It was when I was with my ex and her brother always used to wear this hat. And he said, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Black classic hat.
The classic hat, early doors. And I remember I told you it was like almost like the Nando's font.
Yeah.
And I just used to think, what's this? Like, this is wavy. And from there, it perked my interest. So I had looked into FullyPaid before we even met. So what was going on around them times? What were like the origins of like the FullyPaid brand and Mr FullyPaid as well?
Yeah. So what, 017 May, I think it was 017 May and that the company was formed, but I think we didn't drop to like, June 2017. So originally, obviously from East London, proper East End brand, etc. Originally, we started with like 400 to 500 pound back then, which wasn't easy at the time. Obviously, my business partner as well. Obviously, we were both in this together from the get go. Obviously, the what it was with the brand is like we did not know what to expect from the business, because obviously none of us went to fashion school and none of us were like, obviously not saying we're not fly guys, we were fly guys, you know what I'm saying, but it wasn't something that ever struck us to say like, cool, we're gonna do a fashion company, you know what I'm saying. So it's one of them things that obviously it was a test run, and yeah, like it done fairly well, but obviously I got to big up everyone else in East London and Hackney, because obviously without them, we wouldn't be where we are today, because a lot of people from the local area actually helped support the brand. Whether it's not about like social influence and stuff like that, it was the purchases and people wearing it in the local area, you know what I'm saying? Them hats literally helped us form who we are today. So I've got to big up everyone who purchased in the past, the hats, etc., because without them, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't have got that exposure, and I feel like that plays a part in it in the community, so yeah.
You know, FP, I got a couple questions that kind of come before that. My main questions are, why did you start a fashion brand? Why hats were the first thing you kind of launched? And then lastly, why do you think the local community really bought into what you were doing?
So obviously, a few people have seen it, and that we're starting to drop clips of how the company was formed in it. Obviously, I'm not gonna go in detail. I'll let the storylines do the talking as time goes on. So we dropped something FullyPaid Origin. I think you probably seen it. Few people seen it. So for those who don't
Wavy,
know,
by the way.
for those who don't know, love, go and check that out, and that will give you a deeper meaning behind FullyPaid. The next one's coming out probably next couple months.
Okay, nice.
Ashley Waters will be directing.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So
Big deal.
that would obviously start piecing the jigsaws together, and everyone will start getting a more understanding again. I feel like that was good that we dropped it, because it gave people a whole different perception, and I feel like that helped a lot to kind of, you know, say, all right, cool, respectable. And what was the other question you asked?
So the main question was like, why did you stop?
Yeah, so obviously at the time when obviously we were doing the brand, I wasn't really doing much with myself anyway, regardless. So, you know, I think I've just got released. So I was playing football at the time for Wimbledon. I've been released.
I never knew that.
Yeah, man's a baller.
What position?
Winger, innit? Right?
Yeah.
Man, get me?
He said small Ghanaian, 99 pace.
Nippy, mad nippy, mad nippy. So after Wimbledon, obviously, unfortunately, I didn't get a pro. So obviously, you get me? I wasn't really doing too much at the time. You know what I mean? I was trying to still play football. I mean, I was playing non-league at the time. You know what I mean? I'm a local guy. I'm with the locals and stuff like that. So there wasn't really much going on. Like, literally, there was nothing really going on in my life that was like anything amazing. I feel like I was still trying to find myself. I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really know what I was going to do in the next 5 years. I had no, like, do you know what I'm saying? And obviously my cousin came through with an idea with FullyPaid. I remember him calling me. He was explaining it to me and that. And it seemed interesting. And I was like, oh yeah, it sounds good.
Wait, did he have the name for it straight away?
Yeah, he had the name and everything for it straight away. So he's like, oh, what do you think of this name? I said, oh, you know what? It's like FullyPaid. It's like, okay, it sounds good, innit? But I was thinking, I don't know. But then again, I said, you know what? It sounds good. I like the name, innit? So obviously, at the time, I didn't know what he was initiating. But obviously, what he initiated was like, oh yeah, I think we should do business together, innit? And obviously, me being me, I was just like, you know what? Nah, I'm good in it. Because obviously, like, at the time, I wasn't trying to take too much risk. I was just thinking, nah, like, I just want to live a normal life, make dough however I'm making dough, and then figure out from there. I didn't really want to jump in the business world because I didn't know what to expect. And at the time, I didn't know anyone who had a business. So I was just like, this is all long. Like, man's not on this. Like, I just want to live a normal life. And that is it. So obviously, I said, I'm not too sure. A couple of days after, he was like, proper like persistent with it. Like, come join me. We could do this, etc. Stuff like that. Then I said, you know what? Yeah, like, why not? I don't mind, innit? The rest has been history from there. But it wasn't easy at the time because obviously when I'm doing it, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. Almost like I had to learn on the job fast, and I didn't really know where to get clothes made, etc. A lot of things I didn't really know. But
sorry to cut you there, FP. But considering the point about you didn't know what to do, obviously, that makes me question, why did your cousin come to you in particular? Why do you think he came to you?
I don't. You know, I don't genuinely know to this day why he came to me. I think because we were speaking a lot at the time and stuff like that, he probably just thought, yeah, you know what, Sam will probably be the man for the job. You know what I'm saying? But you know what it is at the time as well. I remember actually in the teller, I remember him asking, and he just said, like, obviously he could see something in me that no one else could see.
Is he like your older cousin?
Yeah, which was like my god brother as well. So which was like, you know, that I'd big him up for that. But he said he could see things that no one else could see, and he knew that I could do the job. At the time, I couldn't see it, to be fair. Like, man, just, you know what I'm saying? But one thing about me, I'm a hard worker, innit? So I work hard. Like, I'll try my best. If anything I do, I'll put my all into it. I'll try my best in it and try and see what I can do.
Where do you think that sort of characteristic comes from?
I think it comes heritage. I feel like when you play sports as well, a lot of resilience. I think where you come from, like an area like Hackney or whatever, you build a lot of resilience and stuff like that. Not all the time, not everyone has that in them, but I think it's one of the things that's been built in me. I've always been kind of resilient. Like, I need to get the job. If I'm doing something, I want to make sure I do it to the best of my ability. That's just one thing about me. I'll try everything I can. I won't throw in the towel early. Like, I will not do that. So yeah, man, I'll try my best to get a result. And yeah, but it was interesting at the time. So I didn't know what to do. I had no clue. Didn't know nothing about fashion. Didn't know anyone in fashion. Had no clue. Didn't know anyone that had a business at the time. So at the time, I think what it was is like, first of all, I started checking on Google. Google was like my best friend at the time. Checking where to get t-shirts printed, etc. Then we made our first 50 t-shirts. Obviously, by then my cousin was way ahead of time. He had a logo, everything was ready to go.
When he came to you,
he's ready to go. So it was more of a thing where, all right, cool. Like, I need you to kind of help get this side of it done. So it was more like, all right, cool, I need to now get a manufacturer and stuff like that. Obviously, at the time, we got the t-shirts printed in London. It was pricey. It was like at the time, it wasn't pricey, but like for that many t-shirts, it was like kind of a bump. So we invested like $5 into it. Got the t-shirts.
So the t-shirts came before the hats?
Yeah. Okay. T-shirts came before the hats. So the t-shirts were all right. Like, it weren't really nothing. It weren't really anything special.
What did they look like?
It was the same thing as the like the hat front. So the hat front was on the t-shirt at the time. And I remember like we was giving it out to the locals. We were selling some. Some people paid short change. But it weren't nothing. It was just in around the small circle of East London and that. And I think the hats came about a month after. And then that was it for me.
You say flooded the streets?
Yeah, flooded, absolutely flooded. The hats flooded every single part of East London. Yeah, because obviously when the hats come, obviously I remember at the time I was talking to one of my boys, Serhat, Turkish guy, and obviously his mom makes Turkish breakfast, and obviously they know I love Turkish breakfast. So I remember he invited me over, had Turkish breakfast with him, and he's a big fan of the brand even till now. And he was like, "Oh, right, like bro, I think you need to do hats." And I was like, hats? Like, nah, man, everyone does that. I ain't doing hats. He's like, nah, trust me, this logo on a hat, you know what I mean? It's going to make sense, you know what I'm saying? Because hats, everyone wears hats, you know what I'm saying? If someone's having a bad hair day, hat.
It's a cut through.
Yeah, he said with t-shirts, like, it's England. It's like, do you know what I'm saying? So I said, do you think? He said, yeah, hats are easy. He said, I'll be your first customer. I'll buy the hat. So, all right, cool. So then I went off and then I said, you know what? I'm going to do the hat. I remember talking to one of my boys from Essex. I didn't know where to get a hat manufacturer from. I remember looking, most of them were in China. I didn't really know much about that at the time. And I wanted someone in England, so it was just easier for me to start off with. And I remember I was talking to one of my boys from Essex, a guy called Liam. And he was helping his boy with a brand. And I was like, Liam, I need some help. Like, I need a hat manufacturer. Like, I don't mind if you guys don't give it. Understandable, but can you direct me to someone that does hats or where to get it from?
So you even understood that man may not give up the plug.
Yeah, so I was just
wasn't even expecting.
I was like, give me somewhere that direct, like some directory. And he was cool. He's like, yeah, here you go. Like, he does our hats. You know what I'm saying? Just tell him we recommended you. He's like, oh, if you get the hats made, just give me one in it.
Oh, that's it. He's a G.
Like, yeah. So I was like,
give me that. He's from Essex, yeah.
Yeah. Liam. So I was like, cool, thanks. So I spoke to the guy. Got the hats made, and the hats looked banging. Hats were nice.
But you just got the black ones,
The black one logo at the front. The hats were nice. Like, you know what I'm saying? I remember getting a picture. I posted on Instagram. Everyone was getting mad. Phone ringing off. A couple man like, yo, where's the hat? How much? Bear man are messaging the locals and that people are messaging. I'm saying, yo, score hat, score pop, boom. And then we bought like 20, and them hats, I think they came to me on a Friday. Obviously, I had no office at the time, so it came to my house address. Got there on a Friday. By Sunday, hats gone. 20 hats gone. So I was like, oh, yeah, people are feeling it. And obviously, it was like legit trapping at the time, legit shotting. So like, my cousin's calling me. He's like, yo, this person wants that person wants that. Obviously, then I'm there, and then I'm with my other cousin called Cherio, and we're literally just like, Cherio's boys are calling him for the hat. I'm giving some to Cherio. He's hitting them off. But you know what I'm saying? It was just mad. It was like, it was cut. And then obviously I'm sometimes not in the ends, and then I'm calling my sisters saying, yo, this person's coming to get this hat, that hat. So my sisters are flying it as well. And everyone's just flying the hats. You know what I'm saying? And then we started changing colours and stuff like that. And then
so what was the type of colours did you drop? Like baby pink, baby
everything,
blue,
every colour you can think of. We reached that out at the time.
You know what, FP, speaking of that, is that good business advice? Like, let's say you have a popular product in this, like, does it make sense to just like push that out?
I'll say so, yeah. If it's working at the time, yeah, I'll say, like, obviously it gives you obviously something to stand on, innit? To build on to the next thing. And I think that definitely, and I think the turning point for that hat is when Sterling wore it and it hit the papers. So
Sterling was on the front of...
Yeah, like, obviously, you know, they're always onto him for no reason, man. So Sterling wore a FullyPaid hat when he signed a new deal for Man City, and they were like, rah, like, he's coming with this, do you know what I'm saying?
I actually remember that. Yeah. You remember that?
It's still
so
on the news now.
To say it's ambiguous. They're trying to say, wow, because you got a big...
Yeah. But I feel like he wore that on purpose, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like he wore that on purpose. So he's gone on boom, and like that's happened, and then bam, the hats obviously demand again. So yeah, the hats were the real driving point at the time to help us build onto like other stuff, other avenues.
So what do you think made people really buy into the hats? Because at that point it's like fully prayed. It's Sunday today. Fully paid is obviously, it's not necessarily a brand yet. It's just a hat, if you want to call it that.
I feel like people bought into the name.
Okay.
That's what I think, the name, and obviously how you want to perceive the name. So I think that's the main thing. So because I saw what people bought it, and that I feel like people bought into the name, it made them feel good, the name in it. So I think that was what it was, really and truly. I think because it wasn't a brand yet, and I can't say it was a lifestyle because it wasn't a lifestyle at the time. So people bought into the name and probably how it looked as well, and they just liked it in it. And then obviously people might have seen other people wearing it and thought, fuck it, I need this as well. So yeah.
So obviously from the hats, I'm assuming you made money that could allow you lot to start thinking about what this brand becomes, what Fully Paid becomes. So what sort of discussions were you and your business partner having? Like, when did you start talking about, like, this is the direction we need to go? What do we do?
At that time, we still didn't have no direction. At that time, we still didn't have no direction. But the next day to us was like, all right, cool, we need to make a tracksuit now. Because England, if you're going to be a streetwear brand, etc., or whatever you want to call it, whether it's Lux brand or whatever, they all start off from a tracksuit. Maybe not now, obviously, but at the time, tracksuits, if you're a UK brand, you have that's your forte because it's raining, it's blitz. So we started figuring out, all right, cool, we need a tracksuit and we need to make sure we make one and see how it does. It weren't easy finding someone to do the tracksuit.
Yeah, because that's different. But with hats, it's just one size logo, but then tracksuits, you got to work out the size.
It was a bit tough in that. So we got that done. We found a manufacturer to do the tracksuits. It took some time to come. Sample came, it was good quality and stuff like that. People were loving it. And then we brought that out, and that did fairly, I won't say well, but it did fairly decent.
What was the trackie like?
It was just like, it weren't nothing special. It was basically like the hat thing. So took the hat logo, put it there on the side, grating.
I feel like I remember it.
Nothing really spectacular. It was just like a diamond logo on the side. Bottom. So it was okay, but the quality was nice. Very nice at the time. So
is that something that you and your business partner felt was important?
Yeah. We wanted the quality to be a good standard still to start with, regardless. So we did that, and that did okay. And then we just started bringing out a bit more other colours and stuff like the tracksuits. Tracksuits did all right in it. And obviously it helped us build into like summer collection and that. But again, like still the locals were supporting us. They were still buying into it, still doing their thing and stuff like that. And obviously it led to people buying online as well. A few people were buying online as well. So
when did you launch? When did you launch your first website?
The first website launched when we had the hats.
Okay.
So not that many people were buying that. People were buying online, but not that many people, like few people and stuff like that. But then obviously when we went into the tracksuits, a lot of people started buying into it a bit more and stuff like that. So yeah, it was good, man. I can't lie. It was interesting times. Big Cartel days. That's the website. Big Cartel. When even Shopify back then. Big Cartel. So
damn, I haven't heard Big Cartel in a minute.
Yeah, Big Cartels. Big up Big Cartel store. You know what I'm saying? Them man were there. Easy access to do the website quickly. And that. It went easy though.
You know what I'm proper enjoying about this? Like, I'm liking just hearing from what I'm saying, from what you're saying, I'm kind of gauging you and your business partner's mindset towards building a brand or just building a bit. It was more like it was building a business. So it was like you had a product that worked, and you're like, let's push this product out and let's keep doing that. And that was almost like your business model, right? Like, when would you say Fully Paid started becoming more of a brand rather than just a business?
I think after we bought out the trackie and the short set, that's when we realized, all right, cool, we've got a few products here. Now we can kind of say, all right, cool, like, where did we want us to go at the time? Which we set out, and then we was like, all right, cool, we're going to need an office, etc. Because the stuff could no longer stay in my mum's house. Unfortunately.
You're saying auntie was complaining?
Yeah, she started complaining. She started complaining. But at the time, I'm thinking, cool, like, how are we going to get an office? Because, you know what I mean, it's tight. You know what I'm saying? So I started looking around because I'm thinking, okay, cool, I can't keep this here no more. You know, boxes come, mum's whinging. She's not having it. After a while, she's just not having it, innit? So I'm thinking, okay, cool. So that's when we started looking. And then some of the office prices were expensive back then. I thought they were expensive because I'm thinking, okay, cool. I'm like, I have my personal money, which I don't mind throwing into business. That's fine. But I'm thinking, cool, like in terms of like, we're not making that much as a business. So like some of the office prices were outrageous.
It would be too much of an overhead.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like, cool, we need to find something that makes sense. That makes sense was easy maintainable. And I remember hitting up one of my big bros, Lloyd, and obviously he's into that property stuff and all that. So I was like to him, bro, like I need a little office space, nothing. I don't care how it looks like. I don't need it to be fancy. I don't really care in it. I need a good price. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do some research for you. Then he came back with 1-2 weeks later and was like, yo, do you want this? I was like, perfect, no worries. So I went to go and see the person who owned the office in it.
Mm-hmm.
Went there and I was like, you know what, this is alright, not far away from home, close to home, about 20-30 minutes away. No, not 20-30 minutes, about 20, maybe like 20 minutes away. So we took that place. It was one room, like small bedroom, like, you know what I'm saying, not a bedroom, but it's basically like a bedroom size.
Mm-hmm.
No windows, nothing. Like
sorry. Man, sorry, I got a cough, man. Sorry, FP.
It's gone.
Oh, man.
Bro,
Wait, why was there no windows in there?
But there was no windows, and it was like the floors were brown, but it's like a bit dark in there.
Okay.
So like you put on the light, it's like, you know, the light's on, but it's not
dim. It's dim.
As your eyes. So I was like to the guy, you know what, I'm taking it in it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you put on the heat in that room, yeah, it's hot. I'm like, forget, all right, cool, we'll just take it. Took it, and then we moved the stuff over from my mum's house into there. So everything was gone.
You at that point, you were no longer a bedroom brand.
Nah, at that point, we moved everything over. It was a bit of a relief anyway, because I had somewhere to kind of, you know, start doing my work properly. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sorry to cut you, FP, but like emotionally, like what did that kind of mean to you, moving the brand? Because how quick did that happen?
I think it happened within like 2 years.
Okay.
2 years. It happened within 2 years. So, I mean, I was like, oh, right, like this is like, it was a bit scary. But also it made me say, all right, cool, now I need to go harder now, because like I don't want to be in a position where I can't afford this. It's embarrassing. So it made me like say, all right, cool, it made me more hungry, and I was more on it. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was good. It was a good move at the time for me, because obviously it helped me to kind of get a bit creative in my mind and stuff like that. Because sometimes you just need to be in your own space to kind of make things happen. So at the time, it was right at the time. It was good, man. And then, yeah, man.
So being in that office was like a pivotal moment, because from there, the creative ideas you had and whatnot, is that one of the first points where you deeped, okay, cool, we have a brand now, and now we need to do what brands do, like marketing, coming up with. So I'm happy I brought up marketing, because in the early days of FP, that was something that, and I've spoken to you about this before, that was something I loved about you guys. I felt as though fashion and music for you, you saw how much that sort of intersection would help the brand for one, fashion and entertainment and all the things you were basically doing. So like, how did that sort of marketing side come into the equation?
So like at the time, you know, like I didn't really know, but like I knew people that knew certain rappers and stuff like that. So it was easy to kind of get some things onto certain rappers, and I thought like that helped us as well, because at the time UK music was at a big point. Like,
what time would you say this was?
I'll say like 09, I'll say like 18, 19, okay. 19, 18, like 19, yeah, them times there. UK music was at a strong point. A lot of things are going on. It had a lot of influence and stuff like that. So certain artists, it was good for us to get them on it, the clothes and stuff like that. I felt that helped a lot within the industry. And I think even past that, to a point where I think it was like, even we carried it on for a while, you know what I mean? Up until still do it now anyway, but obviously a different scale now. But yeah, I feel like artists at the time helped the brand to a point anyway, because obviously it's out there. Certain artists are hitting 1 million views. They're wearing a brand. It's a good look. That's 1 million people seeing it. So yeah, I
feel like we kind of jumped a bit forward, but considering we're speaking about the fashion and music point, I remember when you guys did the you did the you did the cypher, and Hazey happened to go viral off of your cypher, and then not too long after, you obviously had Benzz
again,
and he did the he had the song and he was wearing FullyPaid in it and whatnot. So FullyPaid was an integral part of those things going viral. Yeah. What role would you say the brand played in that, and what sort of impact did that have on the brand as a whole?
With Black Box, it was us sponsoring it, so it looked good anyway because we sponsored it. So it was good anyway because Hazey, obviously, say FullyPaid and earner, so he's saying the brand's name. It was a good moment because obviously it's giving us free marketing, free promo, etc. over Twitter. Is it Twitter, TikTok, and stuff like that? So yeah, it helped. It was proper good because it was free marketing that we didn't have to pay for, and the same with Benzz as well. With the Benzz thing, I knew his current manager at the time, so I kind of knew about Benzz before he even came out to the open, the social world and that stuff like that. So I've heard Jimmy Pell. I heard Jimmy Pell way before it came out and stuff like that. That was just a gamble that I had to take at the time because obviously Benzz wasn't really anything bigger than what he is now. But at the time, I mean, his manager was like, "Look, listen, like this guy's gonna do serious numbers, etc., stuff like that. We need to make a customized Moroccan tracksuit."
Trackie was cold.
Yeah, at the time I was like, "That's not gonna happen because like it's unheard of. I ain't made this before. I ain't done this before." And obviously Benzz hasn't dropped previous music before and stuff like that. So obviously his manager.
Oh, so what did you see it as too big of a risk at the time?
To make a customize, yeah. So I said, look, I'll give him this tracksuit. It's like, which he did wear for the video, but they wanted a customized thing. But I was like, I ain't made a customized thing for artists before, unless it's an album collab or tape. So I was thinking it's more of a risk because I'm thinking he hasn't dropped anything yet. So what's the initiative behind it? But they were adamant that the song would do very well, and obviously I believed in it as well. So I just said, you know what, I want to go ahead of it, especially the Moroccan community is kind of big in West London.
And you recorded it in Goulburn, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I went ahead of it.
The spiritual home of Morocco in Europe is Goulburn.
So basically I just said, you know what, we're going to go ahead of it and do it. And it was a good move because that went off. Went off. The Moroccan tracksuit we ended up putting online, that did very well as well. It went off because now we're getting a lot of Arabs and Moroccans
getting their eyes on the brand. And
buying the Moroccan tracksuit just because of Benzz's video, which was mad. So yeah.
So speaking of that, in terms of what listeners can kind of learn from it,
yeah.
like, because I like the way you positioned it, because you didn't say that somebody said you should do it and you just did it. You had to think about it. You really had to assess the way and the cons. How do up and coming brands kind of determine what sort of artists they should work for and what sort of music opportunities they should kind of lean into?
I mean, it's all down to you, innit? Like, it's a risky one. Like, sometimes it can be risky, but it's all down to you. Like, you have to go with your gut instincts, innit? So I went with my gut then to say, yeah, do it. Do you know what I'm saying? So sometimes it all comes down to your gut and all comes down to you thinking how good the artist is and what is the potential regain from it, innit, and stuff like that. I feel like you have to kind of really, really sit down, assess background checks and see what makes sense and what not makes sense, and then from there you'll be able to like weigh out the move from there, whether to trigger it or not. So yeah.
And speaking of collaborations, as well, obviously you know my favorite collaboration you lot did.
Which one? Which one?
Bro, you remember, man?
I know. Ashley Waters.
Yeah.
That was legendary.
That was dope, bro.
Legendary moment.
And obviously, I'll just speak about why I loved it so much. Like, for me, it just seemed so authentic.
Yeah.
Ashley Waters is originally from South, though, right?
Yeah, he's from South, innit?
But because of films like Bullet Boy and whatnot,
yeah,
which was set in East, like, it made so much sense.
Yeah.
And particularly at that time, like, as much as fashion films within like the streetwear space are a bigger thing now, that was kind of one of the first ones that I'd kind of seen. It was good because it was like a film, but it was also like clearly an ad, and I liked the way it was scripted and how it was done and whatnot. Like, how did something like that come about, and what sort of impact does working with someone as culturally relevant as Ashley Waters have on a brand like FullyPaid?
Bro, it was an exciting moment because obviously, like, you know, Ashley is, you know what I'm saying, he is that guy in it in terms of like TopBoy and stuff like that. And whereas we formed a great relationship with him, like it was a good moment because it was like something that I couldn't have imagined happening a couple of years before that. Do you know what I'm saying? Because we didn't know who he was. Well, we knew who he was, but we haven't been in contact with him at the time and stuff like that. But it was a big moment for us, culture-wise and stuff like that. I feel like it also made people take the brand a bit more seriously from that moment. And big up Ashley for that as well, because he didn't have to do that. He's like, you know what I'm saying, he's big and stuff, like he didn't have to do that, but he genuinely did it because he fucks with the brand. He likes our like motive, our vision and stuff like that. So yeah.
Speaking of that, FP, you mentioned Sorry, Rash. Were you saying something? No, oh, sorry, I thought you was waving. Speaking of that, FP, you mentioned people taking the brand more seriously, yeah? Like, obviously, we're going to speak about the transition that FullyPaid's kind of been on. We're going to speak about that more in like a different section of the conversation. But prior to like the marketing side that you lot kind of really pushed on, right? What sort of perceptions would you say people, and I know it's in a flux, it's always changing, but what sort of perceptions would you say people had of FullyPaid pre those things and after those things?
I feel like people just thought, we just work with drill artists, etc. and stuff like that. But that was a good moment because that made it see like, yo, hey, we're here. We can switch it up when we want to and stuff like that. So it was good that Ashley's one came through and broke the ice because it gave a different dynamic out and probably brought us a different sort of clientele, different sort of vision. Like people they look towards the brand and thought, you know what, they kind of understand what we were trying to do and stuff like that. So I won't say I wouldn't blame what perception people had at the time because it's what we was putting out there. But obviously that was good to put that out there as well to show that we're not only that, this is what we're trying to achieve and do. So
you mentioned something that perked my interest, FP, because obviously you mentioned that working with someone like Ashley Waters brings in a different kind of clientele, puts different eyes on you. Then obviously people like Benzz and Hazey are kind of in the same box, so they're probably going to bring in the same types of people, even though things on TikTok go viral and whatnot. Like naturally they're going to bring in people like them, young youths and whatnot. As a brand, how do you manage the new different types of eyes that are on the brand in terms of the stuff you kind of put out and how you kind of communicate your messages?
I try and keep it the same. I don't try and change anything. I try and keep everything as, transparent as possible, because I feel like that's what makes you still stay relevant. Not even that, I'm still here now anyway from the things I've done. So we try not to change things up much. We try and keep it as much transparent so people can understand the message, because obviously when you start changing things up way too much in terms of message, it can sort of like confuse people. So we try and be true to ourselves and not try and impress anyone. We're just doing what we're just going over what makes sense.
That's definitely how it seems. That's definitely how it seems. Like I feel like you guys don't overcomplicate things. Do you know what I'm saying? And I love that about you lot. And speaking of like, to me it feels like you're kind of mentioning brands needing to be authentic and almost like having their message and just putting it out in kind of everything they do. Like I know the FullyPaid message is like believe in the hustle and kind of everything kind of comes back to that. 100%. Why is that the message? And my second question is like, what ways do you feel like the brand communicates that?
Well, I mean, the brand communicates that through the work itself. And if you follow me on my personal page, then you'll understand a bit more, do you know what I'm saying, about VTS and stuff like that, of believing in the process. Because sometimes I do try and show the process and the finished article and stuff like that. So I feel like the message is the message, because obviously I try and be as much transparent as possible so people can understand the vision and stuff like that. I hope some people understand the vision anyway. So
And why is like believe in the hustle FullyPaid's core message? Is that something you came up with? Is something your co-founder came up with?
I think co-founder at the time, I think at the time it's because we didn't know where it was going, we didn't know what we was doing, but that message is like, all right, cool, we're just going to believe and just keep hustling. So believe in the hustle, believe in the hustle you're trying to do, because obviously at the time we didn't know where it was going, so we just had to believe in what we're doing. So I feel like that message is still a strong message till today, because there's many times where I might not know exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm still believing in the end product and stuff like that. So that message will always be about
that will never change.
No,
because it's interesting, because as FullyPaid gets bigger, you're scaling. The goalpost keeps moving. Therefore you're having to achieve different goals all the time. So naturally, although you've achieved so much already, there's going to be points where you question what you're doing and you might question yourself. So as you're saying, you just have to believe in the hustle and believe that you're on the right path.
100%, that's it. That's the goal. Just keep it up. So believe in the hustle. That's the slogan still.
And considering we were speaking about collaboration, FP, one thing I like about FullyPaid is the fact that you don't shy away with collaborating with other brands. Like, I feel like when you're in fashion and you have a brand, people are very protective over it, as they should be. But some people are so protective to the point where they won't work with anyone because they feel like it will detach or take away from their brand. Whereas if you, I feel like you've seen collaboration as almost like an integral part of what FullyPaid kind of stands for. So what I'm alluding to is the work you did with the brand Trikko, the Spanish brand. Big them up. I thought the collab was wavy. The rollout for it was wavy. The film you made was wavy. The clothes were wavy. Like, it was a big deal. Like, how did that collaboration come about? And two, what sort of impact does a collaboration with like a brand from another city, for example, have on a brand like FullyPaid?
Yeah. Well, like, first of all, big up Mo and Ibrahim, like Trikko. Them man are cool because obviously we connected through Instagram and that, and I've been inspired with their work. You know what I mean? Them guys, they are doing some dope stuff. They're doing some crazy stuff. So whereas we both share the same ethos in it. So they respected the brand, they liked the brand, etc. So it was a thing where like we're like, yeah, you know what, we should make something happen. But prior towards that, we had a good relationship anyway. When they came to London, when they came to London, we chopped it up, had a few conversations and stuff like that. And like we met up a few times. You know what I'm saying? I brought them over to the office, the warehouse. Obviously, they see what was going on. Showed them a few stuff and that. So yeah, they were big fans of the brands. I was a big fan of Trikko, like, so we just made the collaboration happen at the right time. And yeah, like, they taught me a lot of stuff. So like within that time when they came to England, like, I learned some big stuff from them of how they actually, like, you know, they take TikTok and their content proper seriously, in depth and stuff like that. So I respect them because obviously I learned a lot from them within that time period, like, you know what I'm saying. Also as well, it was also good because they're from Spain, we're from England, so it worked out on both parties. And obviously we both slightly share the, because they're game changers, believe in the hustle and stuff like that. So yeah, man, but them boys are dope. They're dope, man. They're sick. You might see another collab, who knows. But yeah, man, they're really doing their thing, so big them up still.
They are. Now big up you guys for being bold enough to do things like that.
Because obviously at the time I feel like people knew about them in UK. Actually, like, I don't know if people knew that much about them, but obviously I knew about them and I respected their work. And obviously they've gone on to do whatever big things now. So obviously everyone knows about them now. And I'm not surprised anyway. That doesn't really surprise me because they work hard in it. So I think the sky's the limit for them anyway.
I think another thing we can kind of take from that Trikko moment in terms of this conversation is the fact that FullyPaid as a brand has really tried to not just focus on London. Like, obviously, you've done incredible things in London, but there's not many brands that can say they've conquered London or the UK. And the reason I position the question like that is because I'm like, often brands feel as though they have to do that before they start looking outside. But from the conversations I've had with you, for me, I feel like you've always realised that the world, especially particularly Europe, for example, is big for you guys.
100%.
And you guys have done activations in Italy, Paris, Spain. Like, you guys have really done this thing, you know what I'm saying? So what has made that sort of, I don't know, that global marketing or global ethos of FullyPaid so important to you? And again, like, how has that impacted sales and, you know what I mean?
It's done well sales wise because obviously we're getting sales from outside the UK. We have been anyway, so which is good. But also as well, I've always seen the world to be a bigger place than England. Like, I like to, like, I always want to, like, explore different sort of cultures and stuff like that, because I feel like outside of UK they really fuck with the UK. So I feel like it's good to kind of explore and meet different people, because there's some dope people there, dope creatives all over the world. So my mission is always to kind of, like, you know what I mean, be as bold as possible, to, like, not be afraid to travel and meet different people on different sides of the world, because different people share different views on fashion, which helps me, because I come back and I learn something different. Like in Italy I learned something different, France I learned something different, Spain and even Australia I learned something different. Like all these places I learned something different, and them things there which I can then bring back and help me move forward. So yeah, I feel like within the fashion game in the UK, fashion's a big thing. So I've always had in my mind that I'm going to take this as further as possible and try and connect with as many people all over the world.
Yeah. And when you say connect with as many people, I'm quite happy you mentioned that, because from having the conversations we've had, you made me really realise how important that interpersonal connection is when you're actually doing collaborations.
Of course.
Because often when it gets to certain levels of business and different brands are collaborating, it's like, it's not really about the people.
No.
People will make it happen, but it's the brands that are collaborating. Do you get what I mean? Whereas, for example, when we linked up that time and you was telling me about when you was in Paris and that, and you was with, I can't remember the name of the artist.
Which one? There's a few artists, I forgot.
But you said something like maybe he was eating at his crib or something like that.
Yeah. One of the artists, in Paris,
So like, how important is like the brand owner, you, in making those collaborations happen?
It is key. It's vital because, like, places like France, they appreciate when the owner actually comes down, and most time in France anyway, they're still on the block. They're proper like family oriented and stuff like that. The moment you go down there, they respect you. You know what I'm saying? Because someone outsider's coming in, and we're part of them. So, like, it's proper vital still. Proper vital. It's vital to pull that bridge, because obviously I'm not always going to be everywhere. But if I can pull that bridge from early, and someone from my team can go up there, bingo, perfect. But it's good. It's proper good. It's proper vital, because they'll rather hear it from you, see you, and then they'll be like, yeah, this guy respects us and stuff like that. So especially in France anyway, they're proper family. So they will literally, like, they're gassed. You know what I'm saying? They're proper happy. They will take you down to see their parents eat food and that. They'll bring you, like I'm saying, that's how they live. That's how they do it down there. So same thing as Italy as well. Italy's proper like a family thing. So
How did these places kind of differ to London? Like, how does your streetwear scene in Spain, France, Italy differ to like ours?
It's a little bit different, in terms of like dressing wise. They dress a bit different sometimes to England. They try and be the same, but it's not the same sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same at the same time. So, I mean, with France, I know how the French people will dress, and I know how the Italians will dress, and I know how the Spanish people will dress. They all have similar things in common, but it's one of them things there. So.
No, sorry, I was thinking about my cough. Sorry, bro, it's really difficult trying to do two things, but we're doing well though. Like, the conversation's flowing still, so it's good. But I was gonna say, FP, obviously speaking about all the global stuff you've done, I think that's a good segue to speak about, the different stockists you've kind of been involved in, because obviously naturally you ended up in a store in Australia. What's it called? Crepe store. Crepe shop. Big demand.
Did a little collaboration.
So, bro, that's mad. That's a big deal, fam. So big up you and the brand on that.
They're a good store. They're cool people still.
Wavy. So like, how do those sort of relationships come about, for example, and for the brand owners that are listening to this, what sort of things do they need to be prepared for when it comes to working with stockists?
I mean, making sure that the stock's there on time, making sure there's no issues, and also making sure that the stock list company is actually marketing the brand correctly, the way you perceive the brand, not the way they perceive the brand. I think that is a key thing, because that can make or break if you stock listen to the wrong store, and they literally, how do I put it, if they don't market it correctly the way you do, it can mess up everything, and it could put out a different message, and it could cause a lot of confusion, and then it can mess up the brand. It happens every day. So things, the stock list store has to be in line with you. If the stock list store is not in line with you, it ain't gonna work after a period of time, and someone's gonna be at a loss in it. So and for more time anyway, you're gonna be at a loss.
So when it comes to deciding, because naturally you don't know until you've done it. So how do you like truly gauge whether stockists want to be involved with you for the right reasons, and whether they'll be able to take the correct amount of care for your brand?
I feel like you will never know until you go in there. And then obviously, if you do have a second chance to have another stock list, then it will help you then, because you'll have more experience to know, okay, how you're going to go about it, how you're going to gauge it and stuff like that. So I feel like you will never know until you try. So it's a risk anyway. So
No, it's good to know, man, because I think a lot of people, because I've had conversations like this with other people offline, online, whatever, but I think when it comes to stockists, often people say things like they'll never be in one because they always want the consumer to come directly to them. And I get that.
I get that.
But then there's been times where, for example, I was literally having this conversation with one of my bedrooms like a couple of days ago, and he's got a brand, and he was saying he wouldn't want to be in a certain store because he feels as though it may not, I don't know, align with his brand. But then I'm like, but you also have to remember the type of people that you want to align with your brand, that you're targeting, shop in this place. They can afford to shop in this place. So why are you so anti it? So I think it's really important to remember that there's two sides to it. Do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
So in terms of working with stockists and whatnot, what sort of benefit do you reckon it has on like an up and coming brand?
I mean, like, benefits wise is that most stockless stores actually have stores, so you can walk in there instead of online. So people can try it on and buy there and there on the spot, whereas online sometimes you can't try it on, etc. So it's a win-win. It's a win and a loss at the same time, because you might lose a customer that's going direct to the stock list, but at the same time you might lose out money online because they're not coming straight to you. So it's a bit of a difficult one, and you might put it in the stock list store and then they're just making the clothes look so rubbish, they're putting it anyhow on a mannequin rag, and then someone could go in there and look at it and be like, I don't even want this no more, I don't like how it looks. So
it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's a bit tough. It's a bit tough. So
because when it comes to something like that, as much as is in the store, there's still people working in that store. So it's so many people now have almost like a stake in how your brand is perceived.
100%. So it's a tough one, because obviously once your brand's in the store, whatever happens in the store, that like you can't control it. So and other stores, different stores have different managers for stores. So.
And they have different standards, even though it's meant to be one standard across everything.
100%.
Yeah, so it's a big deal. It's a big thing to think about. But I think a lot of brands will be faced with that dilemma. So they need to understand different sort of things that kind of go into making that sort of decision.
100%.
But speaking of those things, FP, I'm liking how the conversation is going, because for me, it's showing how the brand is kind of scaling. You get what I'm saying? And when it comes to scale, you need people.
100%.
And one thing I've admired about FullyPaid, and you especially, is that you shine a light on the people you work with. Me and you have had conversations where you tell me you're hiring this person at XYZ. So my questions are, how do you kind of build a good team?
It is tough still, very, very tough, because obviously you got to get the right person in. That's number one. But also as well as the work ethic. The work ethic's also another thing as well. So I think I won't always get it right, but I try my best, because the business is about learning, innit? There's times where I've got things wrong, and there's times when I've got things right. So it's one of them things there. You just got to make sure that the person's on the same wavelength of where you're trying to go to, or what sort of vision where you're trying to go to. So I feel like that's what it is. I feel like if you get someone that's on the same wavelength, they share the same vision as you, they're hardworking, etc. I feel like that's good, but it's also hard as well, getting the right people in. It's never easy, definitely not even in this climax now. It's tough to get the right people in.
Why is it so tough?
Because I feel like the society now is a lot lazier and a lot softer, so you're almost having to pamper a lot of things, like sugarcoat a lot of things, because some people just can't take criticism.
FB's coming like Roy Keane, you know.
No, I'm being serious. Some people can't take criticism, and I feel like the world we're in now, like, let's say if I hired someone, I don't know, from the age of, I'll say like 19 to 24 or whatever, their society and their world is different from my world. So I would have to approach it a bit differently, because I can't say certain things, because a lot of people from that generations are just, to be honest with you, they're just soft. So they can't take criticism. So I feel like the world's backwards now. A lot of people need to be pampered. And I feel like sometimes it's hard as well, because it doesn't help. It hasn't helped. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I feel like that's the problem we're facing right now in the current climates of life, where the way people's feelings are now, you say the wrong thing, it's long, and you might not even say it the wrong thing like that, but you might just say it how it is, but people can't accept things like that now. So it's a problem now. It's a big problem these days, because people's feelings people are in their feelings, unfortunately, and it is where it is, isn't it?
And do you know what, FP, it's like,
so you're having to adapt.
Facts. And I think this is a really important part of the conversation, because I feel as though it's something that a lot of brand owners don't necessarily ever think about until they get there. Because naturally, when you're building a brand, usually by yourself or with one other person, you're not managing anyone. But naturally, as the brand starts to scale, you have to start managing people.
100%.
And you're talking about managing people from different generations. So therefore, naturally, they're different to you.
100%.
They communicate differently.
They're built differently.
They're built differently. Do you know what I'm saying? And you've never had training for this. So it's like no one can necessarily expect you to get it right first time. But I feel like it's something that develops over time. Do you know what I'm saying? And you've probably experienced that.
100%. So over the years, I've realized certain things. I realized that I need to, like, certain things can't be said a certain way because of people's feelings, but also as well, I've learned people's, like, how people's emotions are like. So I kind of almost know how to deal with different sort of people. I'm a judge of character, so I'll know who to be stern on and who not to be stern on, because I mean, it's like Alex Ferguson, Ronaldo. Ferguson was never stern on Ronaldo because obviously, again, he probably knew that Ronaldo he's not built like Roy Keane, or he's not built like Rooney, or he's not built like Beckham. So you've got to be almost careful and almost like be like literally just be a judge of character, because obviously some people can't handle that and some people can. So that's what I've learned over the years.
You really have to take each person as an individual. Like,
100%.
Just tough, because you're a busy guy. Like, you just want to get things done.
So over the years, I realised that, cool, you can't do this and you can't do that, and you can do that and that. So, it's long.
And you know what, FB, sticking on this point about like the idea of scale, I feel like the beauty of streetwear in particular is that whilst you're smaller, you can experiment more. Do you know, like, it's like things just seem more pure and seem more fun. So I feel like naturally, as brands start to scale and they become bigger businesses,
100%.
not to say it's easier for them to become boring, but I can understand brands becoming boring the bigger they get, because it's like you're just trying to meet a need. You're just a big business now. Do you know what I'm saying?
You're trying to hit targets.
Yeah, you're trying to hit targets. Like, you
People
get
need
it.
to get
Like,
paid and that.
sometimes you have to employ HR departments and whatnot, and things become too formal. How does a brand like FullyPaid strike the balance between remaining who you are, but like building the business side internally?
It's not easy, but it's something that has to be done in it, because I mean, we've been in the game for like, I think, 5 years now. So obviously,
and you've grown a lot in 5 years,
so
bro.
It's this business now, innit? So I mean, we try and keep the balance as much as possible, but at the end of the day, I always have at the back of my mind, it's business at the end of the day. So business is business. So I have to treat this as a business, not a youth club and stuff like that. So more so, I also have the business side to it. So it's not easy, but you have to get the balance right. So when it's time to be business, you have to be business. At the end of the day, business have targets to hit in it. I don't know, every business is different, so we got targets to hit every month. We have to hit them targets. This is what we're gonna do to go about it, so that when, you know what I mean, sometimes we have to get nitty and gritty in it, and as simple as that, in it. Otherwise, if you're not gonna take business, if you're not gonna take business seriously, and you know, I mean, you won't have a business no more. So we got to know when to switch it on and off.
And speaking of business, what would you say the main thing you've learned about, in terms of like the business side of fashion is?
I mean, the business side of fashion, having the right amount of stock is key. Knowing how much you're gonna do in revenue, or like, that's also key as well. Knowing your target audience and stuff like that. Knowing how much you're expected to make off products, and also being a good judge of character, being a bit, you know what I'm saying? Making sure that you plan ahead. Planning ahead in business is vital still, I'll be honest with you. I can't stress this enough. Like, planning ahead is key. Like, if you don't plan ahead in the business world, you're in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So everything actually has to be on point. So like I'm saying, from shoots to sorting out customers, orders, fulfillment, like everything has to be in order. Otherwise, like, you're gonna fall short. So
has there been situations where you guys have lost money, or?
Yeah, of course. There's been many times we've lost money. Many times we've lost money by like trusting the wrong manufacturer. And I think we lost money before, back in the day in Pakistan, about 7-8 grand. But I learned from that, because at the time, you know, the manufacturer did a runner. One manufacturer was using a runner of the clothes. But then it taught me that, cool, contracts need to be in place, and terms and conditions need to be in place in terms of, items and stuff like that. So we have certain things in place with our manufacturer now. So we're not gonna that can't happen again. This is just not gonna happen again. So things like that, like signing contracts, like quality control and stuff like that. So no one ain't gonna. We're not that. I learned from that there that okay, cool. Contracts are a vital thing, or paperwork's actually a vital thing. Agreements in place are a vital thing in fashion. Otherwise, that can occur. So I learned that the hard way. I was young, naive, etc. Thought that business, I'm paying you, I'm gonna get a service, but not knowing that in the business world out there, it can get doggy. So that's what I learned anyway. That making sure things in business make sense. Like,
you know, FP, like one thing I'm thinking about is because obviously I know you and I haven't known you a long time, but we've gotten to know each other quite well. And even as I'm talking to you, I can even the way you speak about setback, I can deep how like resilient you are. It's like you kind of got that mentality where you just charge everything to the game. Like this is just it, on to the next one.
100%.
Like, but when you start to manage a team, a group of people, you're paying people are relying on you. When setbacks kind of happen, do you internalize it emotionally the same way you did back then when it was just you and your business partner in comparison to now? If you get the point, like how do you manage setbacks now in comparison to before?
Setbacks now, like I can't dwell in it for more than 24 hours because business, it has to move on. So it's almost like, cool. It's like, cool, it's happened now. What's the next plan? What do we do? How do we change it and stuff like that? Whereas before it's like, damn, like I'm upset. Stuff. But stuff like that can't happen now where the business is now. So it's almost like, cool, setback, cool, 24 hours. What's the next plan? How do we change this and how do we stop this? Or what do we do? You know what I'm saying? So that's where it is. If you take a setback now, it is where it is, like 24 hours to kind of figure it out. Or within that week, things need to be figured out. So you just have to take it as numb as possible. That's what it's done to me personally, business world. So I've turned numb sometimes. I'll be like, cool, that's all right. But like, cool, what's the next plan? What do we do? How do we change this? How do we do X, Y, Z? So it's more like you have to find a solution. Like if you take a lot hit and loss, sit down, drawing board, find out what can be done, how this can be stopped, and that's how it is. Yeah.
And does that impact you as a person, like outside of like the fashion world?
I try my best not to make the fashion world affect my personal life, but sometimes it could be, because I could go back home and I could just be like pissed, anti pissed, and it's nobody's fault, but something I'm working on anyway. So going forward, I'm not gonna let my business life affect my personal life and stuff like that, because obviously it's like taking it to heart too much. So that's something I'm gonna work on. So leave business as business, home as home, and split the two. You know,
it's difficult to separate, but it has to be, man.
Has to be, man.
Has to be.
Yeah.
You know, FP. Rash, how long have you spoken for?
57 minutes.
Shit.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, fucking hell. That's what I'm saying. That's the issue, bro. And I was saying this remember if we was talking there, it's like, bro, there's so much and I can talk about, 100%. Bro. But what I've liked is that with certain things, you've told me enough. Because the way I ask questions, we could have gone into depth, even about the Ashley Waters. We know we're going to be speaking about that for 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like the ins and outs. But we've done well because I had certain things I wanted us to talk about. And we've spoken about those things. So now, obviously, when I was telling you why you're on the pod, I mentioned the transition.
Yes.
Broski, the transition you have made is sensational.
I know.
Like, because the streetwear space is so big, that it's almost got like different pockets of it. For one, nobody can put a definition on what streetwear is, right? Like a pinpoint one. And because of that, there's no way to say this is a streetwear brand and this isn't. But the reason I bring it up like that is because FullyPaid is a streetwear brand, but then I wouldn't necessarily liken you to this next streetwear brand. You get what I'm saying? So there was a point where I saw FullyPaid as like a streetwear brand, but it was almost like a street brand. If you get the point I'm trying to make, rather than like streetwear. Now, I feel like over the years, you guys have been building up and positioning yourself to almost like, it seems as though you're heading towards like the luxury streetwear space where you lot are designing things that nobody could have imagined you were designing before. And for me, I really want to speak about how purposeful this was and like how you've kind of gone about doing it. So you can start from wherever you want.
I mean, like, obviously, you obviously looked at the brand, you're into fashion, so what the brand looks like now wasn't like that 6 months ago. Do you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? And it's a change that I wasn't, it wasn't a change that I was going to do, etc., stuff like that, a couple months back. But it's something that was lingering in my head for a while, because obviously based on what I wear and stuff like that. Obviously I wear fully paid predominantly all the time, but I'm saying in general, like, so, I mean, it was a transition that I always wanted to do, but I was thinking, all right, cool, when is it the best time to kind of do that? And I think we got the timing on point. I think it was perfect timing to make a change into what we was doing, clothing wise, selling and stuff like that. And yeah, it wasn't easy at first, because obviously, again, we have a big customer base, but some customers are only used to what they're used to. So when you're doing change, yeah, you might lose one, or you might lose a few customers here and there, but then you're gonna gain a new bunch of customers, which is also a good thing as well. And also people that might not have bought the brand will now obviously come in and check it out and probably buy, based on obviously the transition and change and stuff like that. So the transition was something that was in my head. You know, I wasn't really happy. I think earlier this year I wasn't really happy with the direction I was putting out there. So obviously something that I spoke highly about with the team and stuff like that, or like how we wanted it changed and what we should do to go about it. Obviously it wasn't a straightforward process, because obviously these things do take time, but it's something that we wanted to change, but we had to think about doing it at the right time. So I feel like the timing we've done it has been spot on. I feel like we caught a few people off guard probably with the transition.
You did.
But we had to do it proper, like it had to be proper militant. We had to be proper, like, firm with it. And my thing was in my head is, cool, even if it doesn't go well within a month or two, I'm still sticking to this, because I need it drilled into everyone that we're stepping away, and this is what I want the brand to be going into. So luckily enough, it boomed. It did what it needed to do. It did very, very well, better than I expected. Done absolute sick. So and obviously now we're stepping into that direction, and we're gonna keep stepping into that direction. So yeah, man, it was good. Change is good sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Change is good. Sometimes you just got to change things up. But yeah, I was the reason why that change happened, because I wasn't happy with what was putting out there. So I needed a change, and I thought, yeah, this is the best time to do it. And if we don't change now, then when? So we just a risk that we thought we would take after many years, and yeah, here we are. We're still here. So yeah.
It definitely paid off, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
I can see it, like I can really, really see it, bro. And it gassed me, because it's interesting you made the point about you not wanting to wear certain things anymore. Yeah. Like, and I've kind of spoken about this on the pod before, where I feel like sometimes people feel too attached to certain things, well, particularly their own brand or the things that they were designing before, and it stops them from innovating.
100%.
Like, it stops them from being brave enough or emotionally strong enough to detach from something that was so powerful or so important to them. Do you know what I'm saying? 100%. So I rate how brave you were in saying, you know what, look, I'm not feeling that type of stuff no more. I want us to make this, because you know that could have potentially lost you a lot of money, fam. But you were still willing to do it. And I rate that so highly, FB. So big up you on that. The main sort of questions I had from that are, what were the pieces that you say represent that transition? Because obviously I got mine in my head, but I would be intrigued to see which ones you would say. And two, you know, I forgot my other question, but I'll remember it. So what were the main pieces?
The dreams. So FullyPaid dreams. Obviously that is like proper the biggest driving point in the turnover. And with FullyPaid dreams, I feel like, obviously, just to put it out there, that's been in the pipeline for like 3 years. So this ain't nothing, that was nothing new in terms of, obviously for everyone else is new, but for us that wasn't nothing new. So like FullyPaid dreams was designed when we was in our first ever office back then. So it was there, but it didn't look how it looks now, but the concept was there. Obviously at that in particular time we couldn't release them sort of things. Well, we could have, but that's not where our market was. So it was something that just got locked up in a laptop and stuff like that. So obviously when we were doing the transition change, obviously me and Lokes, obviously we always go back, look, reflect, and obviously FullyPaid dreams is a concept that we've had back then. It was something that wasn't out to the public. So we're like, yeah, FullyPaid dreams, this is what we should put out first. Do you know what I'm saying? To kind of like, you know what I'm saying, the dream's still alive, etc. And then obviously he went back to it, and we were like, all right, cool. So But he's like, alright, cool, we're gonna put some changes on it. Add a different twist to it, because obviously this is an old concept, but we can switch it around. A few minor changes here and there. It didn't take long to think, and then there we had it. And also as well, we also had the world, FullyPaid world as well.
Yeah, that
did good as well. So we also wanted to put things like dreams, world. There'll be different sort of things popping up. You know what I'm saying? So with the dreams, it was like cool. Like the whole concept behind dreams is like, we're still trying to keep the dream alive, regardless what anyone says. And the world one is like, we're just in our own world, like FullyPaid world. We're in our own vision. We're in our own world. It's gonna be more that comes up, whatever. Just saying, there's more that's there, but that was the transition change in dreams, and yeah, good stuff, to be fair.
Worked, man. I can't lie, especially hearing you talk about FB. I'm proper excited to see what you've got coming next. And I feel like that's a great position for a brand to be in, because it's interesting, because when you're producing the same things and making a lot of money, it's all good and well, but people no longer become excited.
No.
And because of that, people can start to switch off.
100%.
But now that you've reached this transition and it's like a new frontier for you, I genuinely don't know what to expect next. I'm mad excited to see it. 100%. And I'm not the only person that's like that. I know. It's a huge opportunity for you guys. So 100%. I'm rooting for you lot. And the other question I forgot from before, I remember it now, I always remember, is basically, obviously, the FullyPaid Dreams tracksuit, for example, that's a different sort of clientele than, let's say, like the blue tracksuit you have with the white FullyPaid on it. It's like a shell tracksuit type vibes.
Yeah.
I think that was for the France. You did that.
Yeah, France. Yeah.
For example, 2 different people are wearing these 2 tracksuits.
Yes.
As a brand that's transitioning, how do you kind of manage trying to cater to both those audiences?
I mean, obviously, like going forward anyway, like we're still gonna have like the dreams and the other stuff, like the flare stuff and stuff like that. But with the shell, obviously, we will not be doing them sort of shell tracksuits no more. We will be doing shell, but not like how you saw for France. There will be a whole different twist to it. It will look a bit more stylish, a bit more better and stuff like that. So we will be able to cater for them. It's just that it will look much different and much, everything will look much cleaner and a bit better. I feel like the France one was at a stage where we was still trying to dangle around and stuff like that. But shell tracksuits definitely are coming back, but it won't be like what we produced the first time. It'll be a bit different. Well, not a lot different anyway. So yeah,
that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah,
because my whole thing is like, the meaning of FullyPaid is so powerful, right?
Yeah.
That I want, and for me, I feel like you're so connected with youth.
Yeah.
Which is what I love about the brand.
Yeah.
And I want the youth to still be able to feel like they can wear FullyPaid.
100%.
But sometimes it's almost like brands can be too gone to the point where certain people can't even afford it. So I'm always intrigued to see how brands still cater to that original core whilst also attracting new customers. And often the new, especially within streetwear, often the new customers can be older people who can spend more money. So then you have higher ticket items and you have the lower ticket items. So I'm intrigued to see what that balance will kind of look like for you lot. You get what I mean?
Same. So am I. With something we'll look into next year, and then we'll see from there. That will determine like what's gonna happen. But we'll still try and keep the youth side as much as possible, because obviously, yeah, man.
I'm really intrigued. You'll just have the youths looking flyer, innit?
Yeah, those are the champs, man.
Yeah, exactly. They're the champs, bro. But you know, FP, like, this conversation's been wavy. I'm gonna start rounding off with a couple things. Speaking of the transition, my main question is then, like, what can we expect from FullyPaid in the next 5 years then?
Next 5 years, I mean, I expect a big collab anyway. A big collab.
Was it in the works already?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Okay. It's in there anyways. We're even in there. Okay. We expect a big collab. Expect a few more pop-ups, different pop-ups anyway. Not in Europe, but different locations like America and stuff like that.
Africa.
Yeah, Africa as well. Definitely Ghana's something that I'm working on. So expect Africa as well. Definitely Africa, like Ghana, South Africa and stuff like that. And also some just doing wavy stuff, man. That's it, just wavy stuff. We'll be doing more stuff like on the ground and stuff like that. So expect them stuff from us still. Yeah,
it's gonna be big. 2024 is gonna be big for you.
Big, yeah, man.
Because these lot don't know, but we're recording on December the 31st.
December the 31st.
Crazy. Thank you for that, FP, by the way. Because a lot of people wouldn't come out for man on the last day of the year. Like, but I'm so happy we did it today, because obviously we've been talking about this for time.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
And we finally were able to sit down with each other and chop up on the very last day of the year.
Obviously, last day of the year, like I can obviously think back and be like, all right, cool.
Exactly.
It's more easier at the time. Obviously, too much going on. You might have missed certain things.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think end of the year was perfect, probably perfect.
Perfect, bro. And I think it's also good because you can say stuff, and within 366 days, a whole year, you can see whether you've been able to do it.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, big up you on that, man. And yeah, man, FP, thank you so much, my brother.
Thank you as well, man. Thank you.
This has been an incredible conversation. Sorry about my cough, man. And Rash, more sorry to you because you got to edit this shit, man, bro.
It happens,
man. It's mad because I'm never sick on this shit, bro. Crazy, bro. Mad. Whoever's working against me or trying to ruin this podcast, I'm on to you. But FP, obviously, you know, I feel like I had one more question that I wanted to ask. Yes, I got two actually.
Go on,
but you know the last one's always the same.
Yeah.
What does success for you look like? And the reason I ask that is because as somebody running a brand that's scaled quite a bit over the past 5 years, success always changes. 100%. At a point, success could have been to you 100 bags in revenue.
Yeah.
I reckon you. No, I'm saying like you've been there. You get it. Yeah. Humble. You see if he's humble, he doesn't say no. You've been there. You get it. Yeah. So like, what's success to FullyPaid now?
I mean, like for me as a person or FullyPaid as a company? I mean,
and both actually.
I'll say for me personally, it's just like bro, like health for me, and just keeping your mind in straight line. To be fair, obviously, we're in a world right now where a lot of people are under pressure. A lot of people are losing their mind through mental health and stuff like that because of the society we live in now. So my thing is just not like to always keep myself to myself and literally just try and enjoy anything you're doing right now. Try and travel. That's my thing. I'm going to try and travel and keep my mind at peace. So as long as my mind is at peace and my health is good, that's success for me. Do you know what I'm saying? Nothing more, nothing less, to be honest with you. And as long as I'm happy, my family are happy and everyone knows, then I'm good, bro.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's just for me, innit? I'm not really fussed in it. Obviously, the older I've got, things have changed. So before it might have been like, yeah, I'm gonna get a happy. But like that's not it, innit? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
we say no FP chain coming.
And maybe, who knows? Like, you know what I'm saying? Who knows? Maybe get me here. Probably soon still. But apart from that, like, nah, that for me, that's success for me, innit? In a nutshell. Yeah. And then for FullyPaid, just literally maintaining and making sure customers are happy is a success for me, and also staying relevant and making sure the business continues to grow over the years and stuff like that. That'll be a success because every year you stay in the business. It's a success. It is. So a lot of business come in 3-4 years, bang, done, etc. It happens every day because business is hard, isn't it? But to last, if you can last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and that, it's a success. 10 years anyway as well.
Big deal.
So success. Not many businesses can last a decade, but it happens. It is what it is.
So the end of next year will be FullyPaid's what?
I think
6 years?
6 or 7 years.
Okay.
6, 7 years. So not too far away from 10.
30.
Yeah.
10th, you've got to do something big still.
Massive, something massive still. So 10. Hopefully we make something big happen.
100%. So finally, FP, my brother, my last question is, what would be your main piece of advice for the next generation of people that want to get into fashion, brand owners, designers, whoever?
Be patient, know what you're doing it for. Make sure you're optimistic as well. Make sure you're always learning as well, because I'm always learning on the job as it goes on. I'm always learning. Every single day I learn something new. And just be confident and do whatever makes you happy, innit? So yeah, not too much pressure. Don't try and look at anyone big. Not obviously you can look at anyone big for inspiration, but don't try and look too like, oh yeah, I need to be. Do you know what I'm saying? Add your own twist to it. Be yourself. Everything will happen, innit? That's it. That's it.
FP, my brother.
Yeah. Locked in. Thanks for having me, man.
Bro, thank you so much, bro.
No worries, man. Anytime, man.
Bro, it means a lot, man. And you've been here for some hours as well, bro.
Yeah, that's calm, man.
What time we got it at 10? What's the time now?
1:45.
Yeah, fucking hell, mate. And no, you said you wanted your Nando's as well, fam.
Yeah, I'm still going to get my Nando's.
But FP, again, thank you so much, my bro. If you could just look into that camera there and basically tell them where to find you.
FullyPaid_ clothing on Instagram, personal Instagram, Mr FullyPaid, TikTok FullyPaid, LDN, YouTube FullyPaid, all of that. Check it out.
Perfect. And my people, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. You know where to find us, WMTV_LDN. And yeah, this is going to come out in the new year. So I hope you have a great 2024. And as I always say, keep it locked. Thank you for watching another episode of Where's My Podcast. If you ever want to take in future episodes on the go, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Whilst you're there, please leave us a 5-star review. It would really help. And also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram, WMTV_LDN, to keep up to date with the latest goings on in UK fashion. Keep it locked.